Alright. Hi guys, this video is about death runs, what they are, what's the goal, and how to win. So, when you are playing Dandy's World, you've probably seen people advertise a bunch of different kinds of runs, like main hunts, or main onlys, or pro runs, or bassy hunts, or pebble hunts, or what have you. There's a bunch of different kinds of runs, but this video is specifically about a genre of run called a death run. Now, death runs also go by other names such as grief runs or battle royales, and the goal of these kinds of runs is to kill and sabotage the rest of your team by any means necessary and be the last one standing at the end. It has to be noted that many of the things that happen in these kinds of runs are bannable offenses for normal runs, with griefing literally being the main focus of this kind of run. So use this guide as a handbook on what not to do in a normal run. However, in death runs, everyone who joins is supposedly aware of the premise of the run, so you shouldn't get reported. But just to be safe, make sure that if you are the host, you put a reminder in the chat box for nobody to report anybody in this lobby for griefing. It's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to people you don't know. As of making this video, Dandy's World has 32 playable toons to pick from, each one with their different strengths and weaknesses. In this section, I'm going to go over some of the best and worst picks for a death run. In my opinion, the most important stat in a toon is movement speed. The faster you are, the easier you can outrun twisteds, which can get you out of some pretty sticky situations. Even if the rest of your stats are working against you, simply having 4-star or above movement speed could very well be enough to keep you alive long enough to see victory. The second most important stat is stealth. Stealth determines how far away twisteds see you, and it determines hunt priority, which is how twisteds decide which toon to go after. If you and a toon with lower stealth than you are both cornered by a twisted, the toon with the lower stealth is going to get hit. The third most important statistic is stamina. Stamina determines how long you can run for, and the difference between 2 and 3 stars can mean a difference between life and death. With this in mind, here goes my tier list. So, for this tier list, I'm going to start off with toons that I just simply don't recommend using. First of all, Shrimpo. I'm sorry, Shrimpo fans, but if you want to participate in a death run and you want to win, then I do not recommend using Shrimpo. He's fun, and you'll learn some things about evading twisteds, because everyone's going to bully you, but if you want to win, Shrimpo's not the way to go. V is another one. V is good for normal runs, but when it comes to death runs, she has 2-star movement speed and 2-star stealth. Both of these end up working against her when she has teammates that are faster and stealthier. Scraps, my beloved baby girl. I main Scraps, but, well, she's a survivalist, but not when it comes to death runs where your teammates are going to intentionally try and attack you. Because, remember, I've repeated this many times, but this is a death run. This is not a normal run. The twisteds are tools. The twisteds are weapons to be used against you. Roger's going to go up here as well for the same reason. The twisteds might have forgotten where you are, but your teammates sure haven't. And they're going to figure out a way to get you. Even though Scraps has 5-star stamina, which is pretty great, her 2-star movement speed it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Now, you can weaponize her with stealth candies, but I'll talk about that a bit later. So, those are the ones I have in the don't use section. Meanwhile, in the meh section, we have toons that you could totally use, and you could totally win as, such as Boxton, such as Connie, Brightney even, but these are just not ones I would necessarily recommend if you're trying to win. I don't necessarily know where to put Gigi, because Gigi does have a really nice ability that could give her an edge against her opponents, but she also has 1-star stamina, and that's a bit difficult. I have seen a Gigi who really held out while using water cooler, so I'm going to put her in the pretty good section, because she just was not able to be killed. Props to her. Ginger, she's not very survivable when compared to Cosmo. However, Ginger isn't going to be put in the don't use section because of her 4-star stealth. That is pretty good. I have ended a death run in a stalemate when using Ginger. Cosmo is just a more survivable version of Ginger, so if you want to grief as Cosmo, you totally can. You don't really need to worry about his extraction, because extraction is for suckers when it comes to death runs. Poppy, she's a pretty alright choice, but this is for surviving, not for winning. And I don't know. Her ability needs her to get hit, and in a death run, you don't want to get hit, so she's going to go in the mess section. Eggson is also going to go in the mess section. Rudy's going to go in the pretty good section, because he's slightly better than Poppy because of his ability where he can dash. That is the only thing that gives him an edge. Finn is going to go in the mess section because he also deals with the same speed boost situation, but he has lower stealth, and I just don't see him winning necessarily. Cold is going to go in a pretty good section because she's fast and she's got a lot of stamina. Though, aside from that, she doesn't necessarily have anything else special about her. Same thing is going to go for Goo. He's fast and he has a lot of stamina. However, his 2-star stealth means that his grab is not necessarily very useful. A lot of people go into death runs with Goob thinking, oh yes, I can grab my enemies and I can throw them across the room. That'll do great for me. However, if you're grabbing someone that has higher stealth than you and you have Twisteds on you, you have to stop to make that grab, and the Twisteds are just going to hit you. This only works if you're grappling someone who has the same stealth as you or lower, and you pop a stealth candy. But that is a very circumstantial situation, and I just don't see it happening. So, Goob's good for survivability, so he's going in pretty good, but he's not going in prime picks. Yada, she's difficult, because she has got pretty damn good movement speed, but she has bad stealth, and she has abysmal stamina. Her stamina is going to be the main killer, so she's pretty good if you know how to use her. But if you see a Yada that doesn't know how to use her, you know how to take her out. You just loop her around an island a bunch of times, and off she goes. She's out of stamina, and she's dead. Sprout is going to be our first one in prime picks, because he has 5-star movement speed. He has 5-star stamina. He has 4-star movement speed, and his passive ability allows him to see people from across the map. That is pretty damn good if you're looking to plan an ambush, especially if you're teaming with someone. You're able to determine if someone's in a corner, if someone's working on a machine, etc., etc., and that can really work for you. Tegan is going in the pretty good section because her ability, she's able to heal herself, and these rounds don't go on for a while, so I do genuinely recommend using Fancy Purse for her, just for death runs. Not for normal runs, but for death runs. That is one free Band-Aid, and if you can grab another Band-Aid or medkit or something, if you can be selfish with the heals, you are basically God. Additional factor, even though you have 2-star stealth, you do have 4-star stamina. So you can outrun a bunch of these people that are trying to get you. And I won a deathmatch as Tegan. It was awesome. I recommend speed trinkets for her, or a speed trinket plus fancy purse. I do recommend fancy purse 100% for her. Not for Sprout, but for Tegan, yes. Pebble is going to go in prime picks because, well, he's got nice stealth, like a normal amount of stealth to work with. He's got 5-star movement speed. I believe he has 4-star stamina. So he's never going to stop moving. If you want to take out a Pebble, you have to wait for the Pebble to make a mistake, or you have to be very clever. That's how you're gonna kill Pebble. As Pebble, you are the force to be reckoned with. You are the one that leads the Twisteds around. You are the main weapon holder, and the course of the deathmatch can very well be determined by you. Astro is also a very good pick, not only because he has the 5-star stealth, which only Connie has, but he's also got very great stamina regeneration, so he can just keep looping an island forever, and he's got that passive ability that can help your teammates if you are teaming with someone to get a kill. He's faster than Connie, so she's just a good pick all around. I've seen many Astros win. And if you run Diary on Astro, that means you're stealthier than other Astros. Other Astros that are in that deathmatch with you, because face it, there will be a few, usually. They're not expecting the other Astro to be stealthier than them. So that's a good way to take them off guard. And I should probably mention why I put Connie in the meh tier. So Connie does have 5-star stealth, and that is pretty good. But she has 1-star movement speed, and her stamina isn't anything special either. So if someone gets you to bait out your ability, and then gets you to run out of stamina, you're fucked. There's nowhere for you to go. Not to mention that with your 1-star movement speed, you can't lead twisteds to anyone either. So I tried that, I got hit. I tried that a second time, I succeeded, but it's just, Connie's just not it. People overestimate her. So, Flutter, it's going in pretty good. Good ability, good movement speed. Flight's going in pretty good. Good movement speed. His stamina is a bit meh, but if he can gust and just carry himself out, he doesn't really need to worry about it. Tisha, I'm kind of caught between meh and pretty good for her. Same issue with Flight, where she's got good movement speed but bad stamina, but her ability doesn't work for her. It's the same as Flight, or at least similar, where it can speed boost people around her, but at least Flight can gain from the Hurricane himself. Tisha cannot. So she's just kind of a worse Flight. You might want to go with Flight if you want to do a death run, but that's up to you. For Toodles, honestly, I feel like is pretty decent. I'm actually gonna bump GG back down to meh, I'm sorry. But Toodles, I feel like, is a pretty decent choice, because she does have 4-star stealth, and her little speed boost or stealth boost or whatever, the little boost can come in handy, circumstantially. Shelly's gonna go in the meh tier, because she's very similar to Finn when it comes to this. Her stats are a perfect cross between Gigi and Finn's, and her abilities don't help her when it comes to a death run. Razzle and Dazzle. Now, they're a bit of a tricky one, because on one hand, Razzle is perfect. Well, as perfect as Pebble, really. 5-star movement speed, that's amazing. But then you go to even floors and suddenly you're a sitting duck. Not great. You don't want to focus on extraction in a death run. You want to make other people extract for you. So don't be the sitting duck. Don't be Dazzle, and thus you can't be Razzle either. So Razzle's gonna go in meh tier. Louis is gonna be in the pretty good tier. I don't have much to say about him. Glisten, I've won a deathmatch as Glisten. You wouldn't think that he would be that good, because he's 3-star movement speed, 2-star stealth. I believe he's 3-star stamina. But his ability allows you to just cheat your way into getting into the elevator. And if you wear distractor trinkets with him, then, you know, he can outwalk the Twisteds most of the time. I've won as him, so I'm biased. He's going in pretty good. Now, I have not done a deathmatch with these last 3, Bassie, Babette, and Coco. However, I'm looking at their stats right now. Bassie and Coco should be in the prime picks because of their 4-star stealth and 4-star or above movement speed. Bassie has 5-star. So that feels like a pretty awesome combination if you're trying to kill your teammates. You can lead them to your teammates and then immediately get locked off of. It'll be harder for your teammates to corner you if they have lower stealth than you, etc., etc. Babette feels like she would be pretty good, but she could also be a prime pick. It really just depends on how good you are at playing Babette, because her ability gives her that little bit of invulnerability. But, however, you might fall into the Connie clause, where you're relying on that ability and you're like, oh yes, I can evade any Twisted, because you can temporarily lose line of sight like that, but lo and behold, then you can't. Your 2-star stealth is going to work against you when it comes to this. Your 5-star stamina is pretty nice, but if you are against the wrong person, it just doesn't help you. So this would be my tier list for best toons to play as. So the next most important thing to keep in mind when it comes to death runs is what trinkets are you going to use? I'm not going to make a tier list for this part because the Toons tier list already went on for pretty long, but I'm just going to go over some of the best trinkets you could use here, and for the worst, I guess you'll have to find out by yourself. So personally, when it comes to death runs, the first thing I want to do is look at speed trinkets. Usually I run dog plush and speedy shoes if I'm looking to become an aggressor in this run. If I'm looking to bring twisteds to people, this is the perfect trinket combination. Clown horn and ribbon spool also work pretty dang well for this purpose, plus it gives you an extra bonus in run speed compared to dog plush and speedy shoes. So if you're looking to become a general survivalist plus aggressor, then this is also a great combination. All you're doing is trading off 5% walk for run. Now, Vanity Mirror is also a pretty decent pick if you are worried about getting to the elevator, if you're stuck on the other side of the map regularly. But otherwise, you might want to just prefer something like Pink Bow instead, because Pink Bow increases your run speed, and you can combine this with any other trinket. So you get a general survival bonus, and etc., etc. Sometimes stamina items might be of help, like Friendship Bracelet, or Pop Pack, or circumstantially Water Cooler, depending on the character you're playing. But you may as well go for the speed things instead, because if you're using speed trinkets, that means you're covering more distance using less stamina, as opposed to using something like Water Cooler, which means you're covering the same amount of distance, but it takes a little bit longer, and you're still wasting more stamina to begin with, you just have more. Diary. Diary is a really good pick when it comes to death runs, but it depends on your team composition whether or not it's useful. For example, if you have a team composition that mostly consists of 3-star characters, in terms of stealth, that is, Diary is amazing because this suddenly means that you are stealthier than your entire lobby. This means you can lead twisteds to people. This means they can't lead twisteds to you, at least not as easily. So that might be of great help. Don't use Scrapbook, don't use Coal. When it comes to extraction trinkets, you can use these if you want. If you want to extract in this death run, if you want to make the rounds go faster so you have different twisteds to play with in the next round, do that, sure, that's up to you. I personally do not prefer to do that. Fancy Purse, once again, amazing for Tegan. You can use it for others, but if you don't get a rare item in the shop early on, it's basically a waste. Megaphone, it's got applications. Sweet Charm, it can help you use your ability more, so that's cool. Fishing Rod can give you a little bit of a gamble when it starts, but it's not useful beyond that. Blushy Bat, surprisingly, is kind of interesting with how it can help you, because it stuns the twisteds for twice as long. If you're hit at some point in the run, you can run away because that twisted is just stuck there. So that plus Poppy might be a decent pick. But all in all, speed trinkets are the way to go. One speed trinket plus something like stamina or just a random trinket like Diary, I feel like that'd be a pretty damn good combination. Otherwise, it's up to you. Basically, just consider which trinkets best complement the character you're playing. So now, trinkets and toons are out of the way, and you know who you're going to be playing. That's great and all, but if you don't have any strategy, you're still going to lose. So, here are some things to keep in mind. You want to be the first one into the elevator. The elevator is a safe haven where you cannot be killed, and you do not want to be left behind. Watch your teammates for weakness. Keep an eye on those who run a lot, because they might be running themselves out of stamina. If you can stick a twisted onto a teammate who just ran a marathon across the map, you're most likely going to get them hit. Be greedy with items you find around the map. More for you means less for your teammates, and you definitely want to keep them away from finding items that could save their life. Vote for yourself and only for yourself. Try and pick the card that benefits you more than your teammates, like picking the heart card if you're the only one injured, or picking the ability card when no one else has an active ability, etc., etc. If someone says they're AFK, find them. Be patient. Most death runs are won because the last survivors got bored of not being able to kill you. And most importantly, have fun. Death runs are meant to train your reflexes, sure, but they're also meant to give you a way to play the game more competitively with your friends and just get out that aggressive energy that you've got, you know? And if you're not having fun, what's the point of playing a game? So that was my guide on how to win a death run, what toons to use, what trinkets to use, etc., etc. I do hope that you guys got some good information out of this. I really liked making this video, and let me know if you want me to make more of this kind of stuff in the future. P.S. Always keep a stealth candy on you, because look at this shit. This is awesome. Alright, bye!